From parts unknown, I'm Mr. Hartgrave, and I just finished watching All In 2023 from Wembley Stadium in London, England. And this is my reaction to that. So I started off by watching 0 Hour, like, so many people did. And I was happy right at the start to see Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian didn't have a match during All In, but he was there during the pre-show. It's the first time I've seen kind of Kip Sabian take that kind of role. I thought he did a great job with that. I really enjoyed how he threw out the MJF as a toss pot. I could use some more Kip Sabian on commentary, quite honestly. I thought he was rather entertaining. Kicked off the 0 Hour pre-show with MJF and Adam Cole versus Aussie Open. Good crowd response was awesome. I mean, the crowd all night was really there for it on both sides of things. Really even reactions. I found them to be lovely. Absolutely. The audience was really adding to the matches and not detracting whatsoever. We've had some kind of sus crowds in America recently. This wasn't like, all right, the last pay-per-view in Vegas. Wow, the audience was really detracting from that by just like no-selling everything and not being there for any of it. But even here, they were like supporting Aussie Open, even when Aussie Open has been like openly awful towards England in their promos. But they didn't care. They just really wanted to see an AEW event. And this was a straight crowd pleaser, just like I thought it would be. MJF and Adam Cole doing some of their best work in there. Adam Cole lands a neck stabber on one of the guy on Fletcher there from Aussie Open that looked really nasty. I think that was supposed to hit in the back, but it really hit into his neck. Hopefully he's okay. That was kind of an ugly spot. The kangaroo kick happened. The double clothesline happened. It was a fast win. There was no bull crap there between Adam Cole and MJF like we kind of thought there was going to be. We thought maybe they kind of like sowing some seeds of dissent or something like that. But no, and it didn't happen, and I'm happy. It was just like a straight-up win, a straight-up victory. So now MJF and Adam Cole are the Ring of Honor Tag Champions. And I guess this means I finally have to join Honor Club and start watching Ring of Honor every week. If that was their intention, then, like, mission succeeded. Awesome. Great opening to a pay-per-view. I thought this was a genius move on their behalf to really get people into this, especially with that amazing storyline, which is going to come out in the main event as well, that's been going on. That build towards this pay-per-view with the bromance between Adam Cole and MJF, Better Than You, Baby. So good, and I think it really made this event. I don't think anybody ever intended for it to be like that, but wow, what a way to capitalize on it by putting this up front. Now, this is where we get our first look at Mercedes Moné in the audience. So they show her off, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to come back in the women's match. It actually comes back in another match. We'll talk about that later in kind of a distracting way, but they do show her here. But we don't get any, I'm just going to tell you right up front, we don't get any signings. We don't get any surprise run-ins. It's so often in AEW pay-per-views, we will get a surprise guest or two, and as far as I'm recalling right now, we don't really get that in this pay-per-view. We get a lot of really solid AEW action. Like, this is the AEW fans pay-per-view. If you like AEW wrestling, you will like this pay-per-view. If you don't, and you haven't been paying attention for like the last 5 years, then some of this is going to be lost on you. This is really like an AEW victory lap is how I feel about this pay-per-view. So we go ahead, and that brings us to our next match on the card, which is Jungle Boy versus Jack Perry. Jack Perry arriving in a limousine, I think, was like the ultimate flex, a nice elevation of his heel character that he's been doing. I really like the entrance. And then not only did he arrive in this limo, but they proceed to battle on top of the limo. They're going through the glass. That's going to come up later. They're going through the glass. They're taking spots on the top of the car. They're throwing each other into car doors. Jack Perry looking very, very strong here. Most of this match is with Jack Perry. He's strong on offense until there's a turnaround. Hook at the very end is able to lock in the Red Rum and tap him out to win back the FTW belt, which is what I predicted. That's what I thought would happen because it's really where it belongs. Having Jack Perry hold on to that and continue that run, there's really nowhere for that to go. So I'm glad that came back to hook. I do want to see more high-profile, solid matches out of both of these guys. This was probably the most memorable match that either of these competitors have been in to date, and it's going to be a little more memorable, unfortunately, for Jack Perry. I did see that it was reported that after the match, Jack Perry did get into a backstage confrontation and physical altercation with CM Punk, unfortunately. I don't know, guys. Maybe people should just stay away from CM Punk when he's working. I think that outside of being involved in a wrestling match, CM Punk seems like a very lovely individual who you can sit down and have a civil conversation with. However, if the man is about to go into a wrestling ring or just coming out of a wrestling ring, his adrenaline seems to run a little high, so maybe it's best not to antagonize him. Apparently, this stems from Jack Perry, who made a comment when he was walking out of his match. Hey, what about that real glass? Or something to the effect of how he was able to, have real glass, car glass involved in this. I guess the story is that he wanted to do a spot involving glass on Collision. CM Punk said, no, that's not safe. And so he was gloating about that. And apparently the two met each other backstage, and CM Punk allegedly put Perry in a chokehold. Guys, it's wrestling, okay? And someone putting someone else in a chokehold, unfortunately, is really part of the job. I think the main problem with this is that no one filmed it. If you guys are going to beat each other up, I believe that it needs to be on camera, or else why are you doing it to each other? And that is my take on that. I assume more information will come out about this later. But hey, speaking about CM Punk, we had the CM Punk versus Samoa Joe match, and this is one of the 3 best matches of the night. I thought this match was extremely, extremely good. Now, I'm someone that has not watched the old CM Punk Samoa Joe matches back from Ring of Honor, although now that I'm signing up for Ring of Honor, I will definitely go back and watch the CM Punk Samoa Joe matches because, they are legendary. This was a very good match. The audience was very much mixed on Punk. It was mostly in support of Samoa Joe. But I didn't feel it was disrespectful towards CM Punk. And that's really, I have an issue with audiences being disrespectful to CM Punk. I think CM Punk is a legend. Clearly, he has a high status in the company. If you're an AEW fan, I think we should be showing Punk a level of respect and reverence. Boo him? Fine. Hold up signs, whatever. But it's when we're being disrespectful and disruptful, which I do not think this audience was even once. But I was at a show in New Jersey where, it was definitely to the point where, when the heel characters are doing heel things to CM Punk and beating him down, and we are just booing CM Punk or cheering bad guys openly. It's like it becomes a little much. And this is the kind of thing that ran Cody Rhodes out of the company. And I think it really went too far when audiences were cheering, characters like Dan Lambert, calling his wife all sorts of horrible names. Your feelings about Brandy Rhodes aside, it's really not appropriate, and clearly that was being set up for the audience to boo Dan Lambert because, my God, he was saying some really horrible things. But the hatred for Cody Rhodes, for seemingly no reason at that point, had reached such a fever pitch that, it was just so much fun to boo Cody Rhodes. People weren't using their brains anymore, and I feel like that's what's happening with CM Punk. And it really takes me out of it. And thankfully that wasn't happening here. It was a mixed reaction. There's still a good portion of the audience that just cheers CM Punk no matter what. And I'm glad that happens because, quite honestly, I've been watching all of CM Punk's old matches. I wasn't into wrestling when CM Punk was coming up, and maybe that's some of the problem, is some of the people that are booing CM Punk so hard just don't understand exactly how influential this man has been on wrestling and what he had to do to achieve the spot that he's in. Anyways, my feelings about CM Punk aside, it was a very good match. I would easily give it a 4 out of 5, if not a 5 out of 5. It was a very violent match, a very physical match, and very, very good. Punk did get the win. He ended up winning using a Pepsi plunge on Samoa Joe. They put that over on commentary, citing Samoa Joe's extra weight made the move more devastating. You know, I guess I can buy that. It's a fine enough story. Maybe not quite. I wish the match would have had a little more time. Quite honestly, it seemed a little rush. I assume that CM Punk is going to get a much larger share of time coming up on the next pay-per-view. That's probably some of the reason why this was a shorter match, but still a very, very good match, a clinic in many ways, and a nice bookend to the feud between CM Punk and Samoa Joe. Do I need more CM Punk and Samoa Joe? No, I really don't. I think this is a good end to that chapter, and I'm looking forward to more things for CM Punk, but more on that later. Into the next match where we saw the Elite versus Bullet Club Gold. Now, I was really excited for this match, maybe the most excited for this match out of any other match on the card. It was an amazing spot fest, which is what I expected. High spot after high spot and amazing moves on both sides. We saw some of that Golden Lovers offense, which was really cool. Nothing too mind-blowing, but we did get a couple Golden Lover spots. We need to see more. I really hope Kota stays around for the long haul. I'd like to see him become officially All Elite. Right now, I believe he is just doing this on a match-to-match basis. He is not fully signed with AEW. I'm really hoping that we see that. Upset victory by Takeshita at the end, sneaking a pin and doing a quick roll-up there. I'd say the best looking person in this match was actually Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page was doing amazing spot after amazing spot, looking super strong. He was never really beat down. So really cool to see him kind of get that respect in the ring and get that time to shine that he so desperately needs. I'd like to see more of Adam Page after this, which is something I've never said before. So there's that. Okay, on to the next match, and that is Young Bucks versus FTR. Young Bucks coming out with a Freddie Mercury tribute, and I don't know, guys, you're going to have to let me know down in the comments if you saw it. Was this a throwback to like an older Young Bucks song? The intro felt botched. Like, I'm just going to say it. It didn't work for me. I didn't know whether that was new or old or what it was, but it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't. I almost think, I'm just going to spoil it. Later on, they do use a Queen song, and I think they should have used that Queen song here. I think this is where they should have put the Queen song. I don't think they needed it. It didn't play well where they had it. They got We Will Rock You, and you know what? It could have been any Queen song. It didn't need to be We Will Rock You. Pick a Queen song, put it on the Young Bucks, and it would have really helped them get more of a pop because they needed that help. FTR was clearly the fan favorite here. The fans were on the side of FTR. I was very much wondering where the fan reaction would be on this, and it did seem to be sided with FTR. Some mild respect was being given to the Bucks, but maybe not enough, and they were really trying, coming out with the Freddie Mercury gear. But I think it would have helped if they would have come out to some Queen, or maybe it would have made him be hated more. Who knows? My favorite spot of the whole pay-per-view was during this match. It made me stand up and take notice, and that's when Dax and Matt Jackson were just doing these never-ending suplexes on each other. We know Matt Jackson is known for the locomotion suplex spot. He's done it many, many times. So he's doing that, and then Dax is answering with German suplexes. It's Suplex City. There must have been 10 suplexes in total or more. It looks super exhausting and ultra painful and really ballsy spot for both of those guys. So yeah, if you want to watch this match just for that spot, I would highly, highly recommend it. Here, Dax and Cash were rocking some armbands for our recently fallen wrestlers. Jay Briscoe, Brody Lee, Bray Wyatt were on the armbands there. There's another tribute to Bray Wyatt in this pay-per-view as well, which is nice to see. A call out of Terry Funk as well. Very respectful, very kind of mellow. We just had two big wrestler deaths leading into this with Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. So it was cool to see these little respectful nods to them. Nothing too big or over the top, but just a little bit here or there. This is the pay-per-view where no one's finisher works. And I wrote down every time someone's finisher doesn't work, and I was going to like call them out individually. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to tell you that in this pay-per-view, it's like the finisher's power levels were taken down to 0 for this, and they were given infinite special bar because we're spamming specials, we're spamming finishers, and everybody's kicking out of them. They're almost super ineffective. I think most of the matches are won with roll-ups, right? Does anyone get hit with like a clean finisher and just win? This match probably has more near falls than any other match. It's like constant near falls. It's a good match. Is it my favorite FTR match? No. Is it my favorite Young Bucks match? God, no. Young Bucks looked really weak in this. Not weak. I don't want to say weak. I just want to say they didn't look as athletic as they normally do, and that's given who they're working with. I prefer to see the Young Bucks work with Lucha Brothers, with other high flyers, so they can do those really crazy spots. They did the best with, they did a great job with FTR, but I think that FTR did a much better job with Bullet Club Gold on TV, on Collision. That match was a better tag match than this tag match. But what can you do given the circumstances? The fans wanted it. The fans got it. FTR wins, and everybody seemed very happy with that result. I think that the Bucks really should have put themselves over. I don't know when they're going to do it. I don't know when the Bucks are finally going to give themselves their own flowers. I mean, they are the EVPs. Maybe they didn't want to take the heat for getting the win. Maybe they knew that everyone would just be like, well, you gave yourselves the wins. But, like, how are they not going to give themselves the wins at this point? I don't know. Anyways, FTR is still the championships. They retain. Not what I thought would happen, but, you know, I'm fine with that result because I'd be an idiot not to be. All right, next up was the Stadium Stampede. One thing I wanted to mention here that is going to persist through the show is when the Young Bucks come out in the previous match, they have these streamers that shoot off. Now, the streamers get stuck, like, in the rigging above the ring, so you're constantly going to see these streamers kind of hang down into the frame, and I can't decide whether it's an interesting look or like just totally distracting. It seems, I don't know. For me, it was kind of distracting. I don't know. You let me know what you think about it. Anyways, that's just something that I just kept interrupting me as I was watching this. Like, oh, look, the Young Bucks streamers again. So Stadium Stampede now in a full stadium instead of an empty stadium. Was it better? Was it different? It's more like Anarchy in the Arena than Stadium Stampede. And what we're missing here are like the big cool spots. In the empty arena, they were able to set up all of these interesting areas for the wrestlers to do their moves off of, or interesting settings. And we just have kind of, you know, the normal audience brawl kind of stuff. And in fact, the match was getting very tragic for me right in the middle when the Best Friends were kind of down and out, and Orange Cassidy was like killed, and Trent was near dead as well. The Best Friends are broken and bloody and wounded. Moxley does end up taking a bunch of skewers to the head, which was a pretty interesting spot and quite violent. And it was right at its darkest moment when things were most depressing. And I was kind of like, do I even like wrestling? Like, here's like the Best Friends, one of like the most friendly, you know, happy stables in all of AEW, just being destroyed by the Blackpool Combat Club. I honestly didn't like this pairing. I don't want to see the Best Friends in this kind of match. But Sue drives in. Trent Beretta's mom drives in, and they are able to and here's why I was thinking we would get a surprise entrance. I really thought like a Goldberg was going to come out of there and just get this huge pop. But no, and it was just cookie trays, and that was able to swing it in their favor. Pentagon Dark makes an appearance in a really cool outfit. So it's an all-red Pentagon, which is pretty cool. When they release that action figure, I definitely want to buy it. And the Best Friends are able to rally up. They get Yuta in the ring. They do a big hug on him. Remember when Yuta used to be one of the Best Friends? Well, they hug him, but it doesn't turn him good. In fact, they do a Best Friends beatdown on Yuta. Orange Cassidy, in one of the most hardcore spots that I've ever seen. Maybe this is some kind of tribute to Terry Funk. I think they mentioned Terry Funk on commentary during this match. Wraps his hand in duct tape with the sticky side on the outside, breaks a bottle in a bucket, and mashes his hand into the broken glass. He ends up delivering an orange punch, a glass hand orange punch to Claudio. A win for the Best Friends here, and everybody goes home happy. And another devastating loss for the Blackpool Combat Club. So they've lost this one. They've lost at Blood and Guts. are we looking at a Blackpool Combat Club breakup? There's this great moment at the end of the match with Moxley and Eddie kind of tangled together in a broken bloody heap in the barbed wire. I mean, I just want to see these guys team up. I'm kind of over the Blackpool Combat Club without Bryan Danielson being a part of it. It's just really not the same. They're just kind of, they come off like bullies. If anything, it's making Moxley look kind of pathetic, quite honestly, because he's like coming in and beating people up after their matches when they're already beat up. And I guess this has kind of been Moxley's thing in AEW. I think Moxley has a really weird vibe in AEW. I really like the team of Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. They're really, really interesting together. They elevate each other, and hopefully this can lead to these guys kind of burying the hatchet and doing some strong tag work, or maybe changing the whole face of the Blackpool Combat Club to be a little different. I think that Jon Moxley is going to turn on Yuta. I mean, it seems like Yuta is their weak link. He keeps being the one that lets down the Blackpool Combat Club time and time again, to the point where Moxley had to give up on behalf of Yuta, who was going to be killed by a chokeout, by a chain in the Blood and Guts match. So it seems like that weakness should cause something to happen in the Blackpool Combat Club. If nothing happens, if they just carry on the way they are, I really won't understand it at this point. Losing two very high profile, violent matches, which is what is supposed to be their forte, their specialty, should put some kind of rift into the Blackpool Combat Club. If it doesn't, I'll just be confused. Okay. Next up, we had the women's four-way match, which was maybe the best women's match that has ever happened in AEW. I know people are going to argue with me about that. Some people just hate the women's matches in AEW no matter what. We could have used more time for it. There's a lot going on here. This is where Saraya is the one who gets the Queen song. She comes out to We Will Rock You. And it's almost like, I think if she would have come out to her own theme, it would have been fine, because I think people might have been, I don't know. It wasn't that massive pop. It's like, I think people were confused. I think some of it was because, like, We Will Rock You has almost become something that AEW fans attribute to Emi Sakura. Like, they might have been thinking that, Emi Sakura is coming out. I don't know. I don't know what the case is. Maybe it was just the audio mixing, but I think that song would have been better served for someone else. If you're going to get Queen, use it for, the Young Bucks or somebody who needs some help getting a little pop coming in. Saraya needed no help. Really, just putting her name up on the screen before she walked out probably would have served her well. We have a big divide in this match. There's some great storytelling in this match, and that's why I say it's the best women's match that's ever happened in AEW, because of the storytelling that happens between Saraya and Toni Storm. So Toni Storm inadvertently hits Saraya's mom in the face, and this causes them to fall out, and the Outsiders are now a split faction. Clearly, Toni Storm is doing some amazing character work. I'm really excited to see what Toni Storm does after this. Saraya does get the win. This is what we all kind of expected. Now, we all know that Mercedes Moné is in the audience. Now, I expected them to cut to her to get her reaction on this match. This is the match where I wanted to see Mercedes. What was she feeling about this? What is Sasha Banks' take on Paige winning? Well, we don't cut to her at all. That's actually going to come up in a different match, which is really, really weird. But right here, Saraya takes the win. There is no story interjection, which is really, really, I think, a shame. It seems like, are we going to sign Mercedes? Are we going to bring her in? Or what? Where does this go from here? I don't know. I really hope they give the women more time and more focus, but this match was great. Next up is the Coffin match between Darby and Sting and Swerve and Christian Cage. It's a Coffin match. I was assuming that Darby would win this, and he didn't disappoint. It was violent. It was a spectacle. Sting looks amazing in this. Once again, the legacy of Sting is held intact. This match is easily a 5 out of 5 with me. This is one of the 3 top matches of the night. This, CM Punk, and the main event. I don't mind telling you that right now. The main event is incredible. More on my thoughts on that later. Amazing spots in this with the coffin. They use the coffin a lot. I really like the graffiti on the coffin. And inside the coffin, Darby has written Swerve's house, which I laughed at for a good minute after I saw that. That was chef's kiss, amazingly funny. And they end up getting Swerve in the coffin at the end. A lot of spots on the coffin. Darby ends up taking a coffin drop on the coffin. There's a Sting reverse DDT. The name's escaping me right now. You guys will let me know down in the comments. I feel stupid for forgetting that one. But that's on top of the coffin. Everyone's doing moves on the top of the coffin. The coffin's getting all dented up. It's ridiculous. At one point, they actually taped Darby's hands behind his back, calling back to 2019 when that happened between him and Jericho. Wow, what a great callback. He doesn't keep his hands taped for as long, but he does do a couple of amazing moves while his hands are taped. Once again, really good showcase for Darby. Sting's looking strong. Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland doing some amazing heel work here. One of my favorite matches of the night. And then that leads into one of probably my least favorite match of the night. Maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I was coming into this thing just expecting it to suck. It starts off with a live performance of Judas, which thankfully they cut short because I'm not going to say that Jericho can't sing. I will never say that. Jericho is a talented performer. Fozzy is a good band. You can let me know how you feel about that down in the comments. But the thing is that it's a live performance setting where you can't hear yourself. As a singer, if you don't have proper monitoring, it's going to be very difficult to stay on tune, to stay on key. And I think Jericho is singing here from memory. For that, he does a very good job. He lets the backup singers carry him through the choruses, which is very, very smart. And yeah, they cut it short, which is really, really good. I'm glad they did not do the full version of the song. It was a kind of a risky move to begin with. They probably should have just had the band playing and let the audience sing and maybe just have Jericho kind of DJ with the mic. That probably would have been a better move than him trying to carry the tune. But, hats off for him for giving it a shot. And I just know a lot of people aren't going to understand just how hard that is. I've sung for a few different bands, and I just know if you can't hear yourself, it's all going to go to hell. And that's kind of what happens. So, guys, if you want to tell me what a bad singer Jericho is, I'm just not buying it. I think he's very talented. It's just a matter of not being able to hear yourself. So this match is garbage. Ospreay does some great spots. Jericho acts as a great cushion for those spots. Jericho doesn't look bad here. He just doesn't elevate Ospreay. Ospreay elevates Jericho, but not really. He can only do so much. Jericho's keeps the match grounded. It keeps the match slow. Ospreay is best when he can fly high and move fast, and it's not happening here. In fact, I thought it was a really bad idea to have Sammy Guevara on the outside, reminding me that I would much rather see Sammy versus Ospreay. This match 100% should have been Jericho on the outside, Sammy on the inside. I feel Sammy Guevara was 1,000,000% robbed from this match. He should have been in this. In a main spot like this for Sammy Guevara and Will Ospreay, they could have put on one of the best matches, if not they could have stole the damn show. But instead we get this. I don't know. I'm not going to say any more about it other than Ospreay does win. Thank God Jericho did not take this chance to put himself over. Of course, Ospreay kicks out of Judas, the Judas effect, which is the first time that's ever happened. So Jericho doing some more honors for Will Ospreay, making him look very strong here and making himself look a little bit weak in the process, which I think is fine. I think Jericho does need to wind down and retire from in-ring work. Jericho fans can argue with me on that, but I know a lot of people feel the same way. But it doesn't really matter what we think. It matters what Jericho thinks. Okay, after this, they make an announcement. Nigel comes out to announce that they have broken a world record for attendance 81,035 people are in attendance, which is phenomenal. And after that, the House of Black comes out. The lights go out and the fireflies come out, everybody. It's kind of a mild Bray Wyatt tribute. Of course, they can't play any music. They can't really put it over too much because a lot of that is property of the WWE. And they do put it over on commentary, though. They do say that they do mention the Fireflies. They do mention William Rotunda. So that is very nice that they call that out here. And they proceed. Well, after the House of Black comes out, then the Acclaimed comes out. And Max Caster does do a phenomenal rap. I'm not going to quote it here because I cannot do it justice, but it made me crack up. There was a joke there on the British royalty. There was a joke on Harry Potter. Very good stuff there. And the match goes through. A lot of finishers are hit. A lot of finishers are kicked out of. The Acclaimed win. That's right. And they proceed to have the biggest scissor party on earth. I'm really glad that Daddy Ass came out of retirement to be there for that. Pink fireworks go off, and now the Acclaimed are your new trios champion, which leads us into the main event. It's MJF versus Adam Cole. Now, someone down in the comments is going to have to tell me what cosplay Adam Cole was shooting for, because for the life of me, I have no idea what that was supposed to be. I was racking my brains trying to figure out. I don't know. He's got like some writing on the back that says Heroes. Maybe it's like a Chris Hero nod. I really don't know. One year he did like Master Chief. It looked awful. Like Adam Cole does the worst cosplays out of anybody. I know he's a huge fanboy of this kind of stuff, so it's cool to see him try, but I just wish that someone would help him out. Can Britt Baker help him out? She does good costumes. Adam Cole, you need to get your costume game on point, sir. After a very standard Adam Cole entrance, we get what might be the best MJF entrance ever, short of one little bit where the guy pushing MJF down to the ring can clearly be seen. And it looks really kind of cheap. If they just would have put him in a devil mask, I think it really would have saved that spot, just that little bit. But beside that little gaffe, it's a great entrance. It's very atmospheric. He enters with his devil mask on, and I don't know. I wrote notes on this match, but nothing I can say, nothing I wrote down is really gonna convey just how good this match is, and it really comes down to the build. The build for this match was so phenomenal. The ring work, the wrestling, the storytelling. I'm not going to try to describe this. I'm not going to go beat by beat on this. I'm just going to tell you on an emotional standpoint, me and my family were yelling at the screen. We were brought to almost tears. We went on an emotional roller coaster. There's a spot where MJF looks to be legitimately injured. Thank God he did not seem to actually be legitimately injured, but it had us worried. We felt fear, we felt pain, we felt joy. It's really the best that wrestling can achieve. This match, this storyline, and it's not over yet. MJF retains clean. MJF is now the biggest face in the company, and where does it go from here? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm excited for it. They are the Ring of Honor champions still. There was some interference by Roderick Strong. I did not feel that it was annoying. Like, just to compare to the WWE and the Tribal Chief storyline, which this is going to draw comparisons to because it's the two best things happening in wrestling. I always feel like when the run-ins happen for Roman Reigns, it irritates me. Here, it added to the story in a good way. It didn't overstay its welcome. It wasn't overdone. All of it was a masterclass in storytelling and wrestling drama that will be remembered forever. It's a legendary match. It's to solidify MJF as a generational talent. And If Adam Cole needed any elevation, it would have certainly given it to him, but I believe it keeps him. It's what should be happening with Adam Cole after all of the great things all the great things that he did in NXT. I'm super happy that Adam Cole came to AEW. It was very disappointing that he had to be put on the sidelines due to a very horrible injury, but it's great that he was able to come back and work on this main stage. I feel that keeping the title on MJF was a very smart move because it gives them the opportunity to have MJF versus CM Punk for some kind of title unification. It gives them the opportunity to have MJF have more very high-profile main events with any major wrestler on the roster because MJF has proven time and time again on the mic, in the ring, wrestling, storytelling, drama, whatever it is, inside, outside of the company, MJF is a generational talent, one of maybe the best wrestler living today. And if you look at the total scope, is he the most athletic? No, Will Ospreay is, right? But is he the total package? Yes, MJF is the total package, and he's very, very young, so he's only going to get better. And I'm really happy that I watched this live. I'm really happy that I experienced this storyline. I'm proud to be an AEW fan, and I'm very happy that they announced that they are doing it again next year. So next year, they're going to be back in London, Wembley Stadium. They're doing All In over again. So we're committing to another year of AEW wrestling and another major event in a huge stadium with a sellout, record-breaking crowd. AEW's come a long way. This channel's come a long way. Let me know if you'd like to support this. And the best you can do for me is hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell. Watch another video after this one. I'm being killed in the algorithm right now. I'm basically doing this video for about 300 people, a fraction of my subscribers, but I thank you so much for watching this far and supporting this channel so much. So I'm happy to come out here and give you my thoughts on these pay-per-views. Let me know what you thought of this down in the comments below. I'll be reading all the comments for this and interacting with you guys because honestly, there's only going to be about 10 of them anyways. If you want to add one more and push this up in comments, that would really help out. And grave diggers, keep digging.